Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. Hello, my friend. I hope you've had an amazing Christmas and still enjoying the Christmas break if you got one. When I was a nurse, we never used to get many holidays around the Christmas time. So doing what I do is an absolute gift because I get to have some time off at Christmas. So Merry Christmas, my friend. And I hope you're starting to think about some of the goals and some of the things that you would like to achieve for the new year. Now, this can be a crazy time because I don't know whether you're the same as me, but I would get my notepad out and I'd start making all these lists and, what am I going to do? What can I achieve? And the list used to be endless and I'd get overwhelmed and I'd procrastinate and I probably wouldn't get nowhere near the amount done that I thought I was going to get done. So I wanted to share something with you today, and it's a chapter from my book, The Grateful 3 Approach to Life. It's chapter 5 and it's the Grateful 3 Approach to Achieving Your Goals. I hope you enjoy it. And the whole book is got stories about my life and about learnings, about how we can get through the most craziest times that we encounter on this journey. And I wanted to share one of the chapters that I know will help when you're setting up your goals or what you would like to achieve for the new year. So I hope you enjoy it, my friend, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll catch you at the end. Chapter 5. The Grateful 3 Approach to Achieving Your Goals. Celebrate your wins. We all have goals and dreams, some big and some small. However, do you ever wonder why some people reach their goals while some procrastinate or even give up on their dreams? My dream was to become a staff nurse, a fully qualified angel of the National Health Service, the NHS. This has been my dream for many years, while working as a caregiver in a prominent inner-city NHS hospital in Liverpool. I worked in a 42-bedded gynecology ward most of the time. However, I also spent time on the neonatal wards, antenatal wards, labour wards and theatres. I loved my job. It was challenging, rewarding and exciting all at the same time. However, due to the level of nursing I was in, promotion was limited. To further my career, I would have to go to university and train to become a registered nurse for 3 years. For me, this was a significant problem, as I'd left school with no qualifications, just dodgy baskets. Before I could even think about university, I would need to go back to college and gain 5 GCSEs, grade C or above. This was a 5-year mammoth task, and one made even more challenging as I believe I could not read and write very well. However, I never lost sight of my dream. The how I would achieve this goal got lost often, but my dream never did. I would visualise becoming a qualified nurse, then a midwife, even down to the point where I would imagine myself answering the phone on my ward as a staff nurse. Hello, Ward 9 staff. I would repeat this in my mind often. I had a dream. It was at the top of my ladder, out of reach, or so I thought. I started thinking about my nan, who passed away when I was 15, and she was buried on my 16th birthday. She was my biggest supporter and my number one fan. We had a special connection and I loved her dearly. I could do or be anything I wanted in her eyes. I remember getting a real telling off from the teachers at school one day because no matter how I tried, I could not spell the word because. Blinded by tears, I rushed home to Nan. I'm so stupid because I can't spell because. She looked at me with kind eyes. There's no such word as can't, she said. Her voice was soft, but there was steel in her words. She's crazy, I thought. Of course there's a word. Can't. I just said it. And so did she. The next day I came up with a way that would prove there was such a word as can't. When I got home from school, I went straight to Nan and said, I can't walk through a brick wall. Without missing a beat, she said, if I give you a hammer, you can. Oh, another light bulb moment. Thanks to my Nan, even at that young age, I started to realise there is nothing I can't do if I have the tools, determination, and commitment to succeed. So I took my Nan in my heart and showed up at the local college to gain my first GCSE in, of all things, English. I enrolled in English literature and English language. I was terrified, but I thought if I can get through these two, I can achieve anything. Right away, fear kicked in. All kinds of terrifying thoughts started to pop up in my mind. What if they say I'm stupid? What if they say I'm never going to make uni? What if they say I'm not good enough? What if, instead, they put me in the basket making class? On my first day at college, I took a deep, calming breath and entered the class. The teacher handed us all a piece of paper and told us to write a whole page on why we wanted to take GCSE English. I poured my heart out about my job, how I longed to become a registered nurse, how I'd lost my mum to cancer the year before, all without punctuation, a single full stop or a capital letter. I could only hope the teacher would see through my misspelt words and imperfect grammar and recognise my determination to get into this group. At the end of the lesson, she asked me to stay behind. I hugged my shaking hands around my waist and braced myself for what she was about to say. She took a deep breath and with a soft, sympathetic voice she said, Marie, I'm so sorry. I won't be able to take you into the GCSE English language class this year, as you are illiterate. She explained further, telling me I could not be in the class because I couldn't read and write. I told her, well, that's why I'm here, to learn. Maybe she saw my determination. Perhaps I simply wore her down, but finally she came up with a compromise. If I successfully completed the learning to read and write class, she would allow me to join her class next year. I told her of my dream to be a staff nurse and my goal to achieve it 5 years from today, and asked her to help me. I told her I had already enrolled in the English literature class and begged her to let me in now and not make me wait another year. I asked her to give me all the same work given to people enrolled in the Learn to Read and Write class, as well as her class, and I promised I would get it all done. She looked at me as if to say, this girl's nuts, but at least she agreed. I remember walking away thinking, thank you, God, thank you, universe, or whoever it was that had persuaded her to give me a chance. But then I remembered my Nan's words about determination and commitment and realised the outcome was because of me. Despite the victory, more than a little fear crept in, as I remember I already worked 4 nights a week at the hospital, plus I had 2 babies to care for, and not to mention, I was shit at English. If I had looked at the enormous task ahead, I would have crumbled there and then, so I decided the only way to get through this was to break it down into mini steps. First, get through the first step in front of me. The next, then repeat. And that is precisely what I did. It wasn't easy. I didn't have a computer. I only had a spell checker, which was similar to a small calculator, but instead of numbers, it had letters and a dictionary. Now, I know you might think that would make my life easier, but to find the correct word, you needed the first 3 letters, and having dyslexia, I struggled the most with the second and third letter. My progress was slow, but my determination was fierce. I fell often, but each and every time I forced myself to get back up, remembering and using the emotion I had tapped into when caring for my mum. I did the work every week. Whatever the teacher asked me, I completed. I worked nights in the hospital, so when everyone on the ward was quiet and asleep and my work was done, I would spend my breaks studying. At home, I would put the kids to bed and study. I made sure I celebrated after every assignment I handed in, which was every week. I celebrated my win by having a full day off or chocolate. I refused to feel guilty or worry. If I had allowed myself to give in to fear, I would have procrastinated, and I didn't have time for that. I celebrated, worked, until I got to the end. Then I celebrated royally. The celebrating I discovered is just as important as the hard work. If you only do the work, life becomes too hard and overwhelming, and that is the biggest goal stopper, leading to procrastination. It's game over. This was my life for 2 whole years. My hard work eventually paid off, and I passed with flying colours. When I arrived back at the college to speak to the teacher and say thank you for giving me a chance, we both cried. She told me I was one of the most unique people she has ever known. Throughout it all, the ups and downs, it was the vision of my dream that kept me going. That, as well as the chance she'd give me to do it. The following year, I enrolled in GCSE, child psychology, sociology, and human biology. I passed all with the grades I needed and secured my place at Edgehill University. I was the first one in my family to go to university, and I'm sure my nan would have been so proud, as I was. I have a photo of myself on my graduation day, receiving my diploma in adult nursing, and above my head are 2 rather large orbs. I believe in my heart that Mum and Nan did get to see me that day. We are enough now. Do you have a dream that seems too big or unattainable? Perhaps you feel as though you are never enough. In striving for your next big goal, did you take the time to celebrate your last one? You may think your next goal will make you happy, but did you give yourself permission to be happy when you achieved your last goal? We live in a world where we are constantly searching, looking for our next big win or next big purchase. What we can do next to make our lives better, our families' lives better. This is not always a bad thing. However, do we ever stop and look at what we have already achieved or how far we have come? Do we celebrate our wins? The answer is sadly most of the time we don't. This does not mean we're greedy or unappreciative of life. This is how we are programmed, how we are driven, how we are set for survival, and unfortunately how most of us live our daily lives. When we don't stop and celebrate our achievements, we live in a constant mindset of want. As a result, we never see how far we have come and how successful we have already been along this journey we call life. And this, my friends, is a travesty. As I spoke about earlier, the quickest way to get what you want is to be grateful for what you already have. The Grateful 3 approach to life. Process to achieving your goal mindset. Steps to achieve your goal mindset. Number 1, set a big goal. Number 2, write your big goal at the top of a page. Number 3, then like a ladder, pop in mini goals that will help you achieve this and reach the top. Number 4, then come down the ladder. What is your first mini goal? Number 5, next to each mini goal, write a celebration gift for yourself or what you will do to celebrate this win. Make this a must. And number 6, if the mini goal feels too big, break it into the smaller chunks until you feel comfortable with the goal set and are slightly excited. Well, my friend, I hope you got something out of that today. This chapter for me was quite a pivotal turning point. It showed me what strength I had, but it can also show what strength you've got. Look at what you've already overcome in life. Look at what you've already achieved in life and use that, draw on that to let you know that there's nothing. My old nan used to say there's no such word as can't. But it'll let you know that there's nothing that you can't achieve and there's ways of doing that. And in the next episode of Motivational Medium, I'll be talking to you how to manifest these goals and manifest these dreams. Even though I've given you a little hint on how I did it, I'll be sharing more of that with you in the next episode. Now, if you've enjoyed this chapter and you want to learn more about what the basket class is all about, and also, if you want to come with me on this emotional journey, when I was looking after my mum. That's all in the book as well. I would love to share that with you. So yeah, if you wanted to get the book, it's The Grateful 3 Approach to Life. It's on Audibles, it's on all the Amazons, it's on all the major sites where you can get your book. And if you wanted to get it from me, then you can always go to my website, purchase it from me, and you can get a signed copy sent to you. And I'll also send you a free Shit to Shine gratitude journal, which just might help you. Well, I know it will. It'll help you raise your vibrational energy to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Merry Christmas, my friends, and Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at amarylord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.